Hey, what's up everyone? I just wanted to show you another update on the weather conditions. I got this article in my Google News feed from the Washington Post, and apparently there is a quote-unquote bomb cyclone to blast the East Coast before a polar vortex uncorks tremendous cold late this week. So here in the central United States, Wednesday will warm up a bit to right above freezing. And right now it's like 10 degrees outside. And then last night, this morning, it was 1 degree with a wind chill well below zero. So that's what it was here this morning. The wind chill was like 10 below, -10, and then the temperature was actually 1 degree this morning. And that was about 8 o'clock this morning, 8 or 9 o'clock this morning. Okay, this polar vortex, which I mentioned in a previous video that we had several years ago, is coming back, and it's going to blast the East Coast. A bomb cyclone, as they call it, will blast the East Coast. That's uncorking tremendous cold. I want you to just take a look at this. It looks like a hurricane, which is basically what they're calling it. A hurricane of cold weather and snow. It's like a cyclone of cold weather and snow. So it has hurricane winds. It has hurricane winds in it, but it's sort of like a blizzard, but yet they're calling it a bomb cyclone before a polar vortex. Unforgiving cold has punished the eastern third of the United States, basically from the Midwest, basically from the central areas all the way to the East Coast, for the past 10 days. But the most severe weather yet will assault the area late this week. First, a monster storm will hammer coastal locations from Georgia to Maine with ice and snow. By Thursday, the exploding storm will in many ways resemble a winter hurricane. That's what this storm is going to be like, a winter hurricane, battering easternmost New England with potentially damaging winds in addition to blinding snow. The forecasters are expecting the storm to become a so-called quote-unquote bomb cyclone because its pressure is predicted to fall so fast, an indicator of explosive strengthening. The storm could rank as the most intense over the waters of east of New England in decades at this time of year. While blizzard conditions could paste some coastal areas, the most extreme conditions will remain well over the ocean. So that is some good news there for everyone living in the areas affected. In the storm's wake, the mother lode of numbing cold will crash south. Likely the last, but most bitter in brutal blast since Christmas Eve. The storm, how much snow and wind and where? That's the question. Here's what they have to say from the Weather Service. The responsible storm is forecast to begin taking shape off the coast of Florida Wednesday, unloading hazardous snow and ice in highly unusual locations not accustomed to such weather. They're just not used to it at all. They just don't get this kind of damaging weather, snow-wise and ice. The National Weather Service has already posted winter storm watches from Lake City, Florida to Norfolk. So, Florida, according to some news online, Florida, their temperatures and wind chill values will be in the negatives in Florida. So, they're definitely not used to negatives all the way in Florida. So, this is definitely a significant weather event. So, I'm sure that won't fare well for the tropical fruits such as the oranges. I'm sure that's going, and the people down there are not used to that as well. So we've been having some crazy weather, though, for the past several years, which I've seen things like this coming. I've seen it on the way, and that kind of thing is to be expected. And I've been watching stuff like this play out for a good while now. But yeah, all the way down into Florida, negatives as wind chill values and temperatures. You might see that later in this article. It is then expected to rapidly intensify, buffering the mid-Atlantic beaches and eastern New England, where winter storm watches have also been issued. This is the image from the National Weather Service on the left, and these two images on the right here. These are the images shown from the Weather Service. This is a tweet. All day Thursday, meteorologists are going to be glued to the new Goes East satellite, watching a truly amazing extratropical quote-unquote bomb cyclone off the New England coast. They'll be watching this bomb cyclone. It will be massive, fill up an entire western Atlantic off the United States east coast. Pressure as low as Sandy and hurricane winds. The National Weather Service office serving northeast Florida and southeast Georgia, they're giving them cautions that a nasty mix of light freezing rain changing to light sleet and snow is expected to develop Wednesday with a significant icing possible. In Charleston, 1 to 3 inches of snow and sleet forecasted Wednesday, where the Weather Service warns to plan for difficult travel conditions. Here are more images shown below. That's the latest. From Norfolk to Maryland and Delaware beaches, including much of the southern half of Delmarva Peninsula, 3 to 6 inches of heavy snow are predicted from Wednesday evening to Thursday afternoon. Farther inland, the Mid-Atlantic, near Interstate 95, the storm's exact track will be highly consequential. Current computer models suggest most, if not all, snowfall will occur east of Washington and Baltimore on Wednesday night into early Thursday, but small shifts to the west could bring some new snow to these cities. So they'll have to be watching this system as it progresses, because anything can change at any time. To the north, Philadelphia and New York are expected to have a greater chance for coating of snow, just a coating, but unless the storm edges closer to the coast, the more significant snow should remain to their east from the Atlantic City to eastern Long Island, where at least 6 inches could fall late Wednesday into late Thursday. By the time the storm reaches the ocean waters east of Long Island and eastern New England on Thursday, it will be explosively intensifying. The storm's central pressure will have fallen 53 millibars in just 24 hours, an astonishing rate of intensification. Some computer models are projecting a minimum central air pressure of below 950 millibars at its peak, which would be nearly unheard of for this part of the world outside of a hurricane. They're saying that that's just unheard of unless a hurricane's taking place. For comparison, you look at Hurricane Sandy. It had a minimum central pressure of about 946 millibars when it came and made its hook into New Jersey in 2012. While this storm system, which is not even technically a hurricane, but it's just like a hurricane, the same conditions, it has 950 millibars, so more than Hurricane Sandy. So they say that's pretty much unheard of outside of a hurricane. Winds will crank in response to this pressure drop, howling to at least 30 to 50 miles per hour along the coast. Winds will be considerably stronger over the ocean, exceeding hurricane force, where enormous waves will form. This is another image from the National Weather Service. In Boston, the Weather Service is predicting not only 4 to 7 inches of snow, but also winds that are strong enough to bring down branches and power lines and things of that nature throughout eastern Massachusetts and eastern Maine. The combination of wind and snow could create blizzard conditions, especially if the storm wobbles west. Their biggest concern is the potential for damaging wind gusts, especially near the southern, southeastern New England coast. Power outage risks also are followed by this Arctic air on Friday and Saturday, a big concern. Here in the central United States, we had power outages this morning, but luckily they got right on it, and I called them right away when we lost electricity, so we were only out for about 15 minutes at a time, and then it went out, came back on, and went off again for about 2 or 3 minutes, and luckily came back on. We had a few things on a backup power source, so that would have lasted about 2 hours, I assume, 2.5 hours, those 2 backup power bricks or blocks. So yeah, just a couple of those things. So we had a few things that would run for a little while. The other ones, they don't last as long, so they kept beeping. Beep, beep, beep. So that was kind of annoying, but luckily the power came back on after I called them. We called them, they got right on it apparently. They must have, because the power came back on. So roughly about 1,500 people were without power this morning in our area, but it came back on, thankfully. These are the temperature conditions, and you'll see anywhere from -12, -13, to -23 below. And these are the conditions right here. You'll see from Nashville, Indianapolis, Lexington, St. Louis, Knoxville, Little Rock, Springfield, New York City, Detroit, places all around. -13 in Nashville, -12 in Knoxville, -12 in Charlotte. Let's see, -19, Virginia Beach, -22, New York City, -21, Boston, -28, Maine, -27, Portland, -27 there, Syracuse, -26, Toronto, Canada, -40, and in Michigan, anywhere -26 to anywhere between there and -28. This is Saturday, January 6th, 2018, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Central Time. You'll see all the way down in Jacksonville, -16 is the temperature. You know that it's a definite major system when Jacksonville is -16. Florida is going to be extremely cold as well. They're not used to that kind of weather at all, and I'm sure it will take a toll on the tropical fruits. The storm's enormous circulation will help draw several lobes of the polar vortex, the zone of frigid air encircling the North Pole, over the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast by Friday and Saturday. Wicked cold air sourced from Siberia all the way where Russia is. The North Pole and Greenland will all will all converge on the region. From Siberia over in Russia, the North Pole, Greenland, it will all converge on our region here. This is after the storm, and then there's the storm pieces there on the left. Even in the first 12 to 28 entry offered, regardless of where this storm tracks, it was quite evident that everything pours in behind it. Siberia, North Pole, Greenland, everything. Severe cold snap behind the storm. Think power may go. Start planning. Temperatures are forecast. Hold on. Most locations of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast are predicted to set records for cold temperatures on Friday, with highs in the single digits and teens. That's what we've been going through for a while now. There were the conditions seen above. On Saturday morning, sub-zero cold is forecast for almost all of New England, with single digits in the Mid-Atlantic, all the way through to the central United States. Winds gusting to 30 miles per hour will make these areas feel 10 to 20 degrees colder than they are. Then it moves up to the east coast more. Finally, after one of the most intense cold spells of such duration on record in parts of New England, including Boston, temperatures are forecasted to gradually thaw by early next week. So, if you would like to read this article, I will copy the link where you can check this out, and you can check this article out for yourself and read this information if you'd like to read it for yourself. So, I will post a link in the description below. Try to stay warm and stay safe. I wish you all the best. This has been an update on the current weather conditions. Thank you for watching. Much love and peace. Bye.